Hello, everyone. Going to do a quick game awards because I know people have gotten their Christmas money and Steam sale is going to end in a few days. So let's just go through this quick. I'm looking at my little year in review here, and it pretty much goes over the stuff that I would recommend. So we're just going to go by month. January, I didn't really play anything new, but BlazBlue Entropy Effect came out in 1.0. The 1.0 launch was actually pretty rough, but they did fix things relatively quickly, and also they posted a little mini roadmap about a bunch of new stuff that's going to be coming to the game. So if you haven't bought this already, this is definitely one of the best action roguelikes ever made. I say that as a big action roguelike junkie. I definitely recommend buying it. You can watch my various videos for this. I don't really have time to find every specific video that I did for these, so if you want, you can go click on the videos tab of any of these games that I mentioned, and then just type in the name of the game, and you should be able to find everything I did for it. Relink came out in February. I had my problems with Relink. A lot of the grinding and progression systems didn't make much sense, but it was a really good game, and the player base is pretty much dead right now because they only did like a couple months of content. It doesn't really have a Monster Hunter Iceborne or Sunbreak style expansion coming, but it's really solid for the asking price, and the DLC gives you a couple characters. There is a mod that like completely rebalances the game and stuff, so if you want to check those out, I'd recommend it. But you definitely would want at least a couple friends to play with, ideally, because the end game content is pretty difficult, and the AI is competent, meaning that they're not the average AI in games like this, Tales games and stuff, where they kind of just run into hitboxes and die, but they don't do a lot of damage, so you definitely will want to have human players to play it with. Like a Dragon Gaiden was actually the first RGG Studios game I ever finished. I liked the base game because it wasn't too overwhelming, but there's a lot of insane mods for this game. There's like whole moveset mods. They added New Game Plus to the game because for some reason this game did not have New Game Plus. There's a bunch of other stuff as well, so whatever they're charging for this is worth it. What else did I play? February. March. Spell Disc was actually pretty fun. Small little roguelike. Didn't really have a ton of content, but I did enjoy it quite a bit. You can see for the month of March, I played it a lot on my kitty sitting streams. I don't know if I actually put any content of that up besides those streams, so you might have to go check somebody else for that one. Megaton Musashi, I definitely enjoyed, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. I play this game a lot. You notice in April and May, I have like dozens of hours of playtime. This was because my computer was in the shop at the time. This was like the best game that I could play. I did enjoy it, but the end game is just very flawed. I know that the last patch supposedly fixed that a little bit, but the matchmaking's pretty much dead. Like the developers also seem to be pretty tone deaf in terms of what the game needs because they keep adding like this last update was nothing but PvP stuff, and like the PvP, as somebody who played this game since the moment it launched, that was dead like the moment that the game came out. But then they decided like 6 months later to add a PvP update. I'm like, the game needs more PvE content and it needs to be better balanced, but they seem to just kind of be tone deaf. So I don't know if you'd want to really buy that. It really depends on if you have people to play it with, and also you're willing to accept that getting to the end game takes a really long time because there's a lot of story. So if you're the kind of person that wants Monster Hunter campaigns to end so you can get to the end game grind, it's a pretty big time investment, and a lot of things kind of become irrelevant once you get to that point because of the poor balancing. But whatever price they're selling it for, you definitely get a couple dozen hours out of it at least. Astral Ascent is actually one of the best roguelikes I played this year, and again, uh, playtime is greatly inflated because all I had to game on was a Steam Deck and a Switch. So anything that I could run without any performance loss got a lot of priority because you guys don't know, my computer was in the shop for like 2 months. So played a lot of indie games in that time frame. It's gotten a lot of updates since then. We'll have to check this out on kitty sitting streams because one of the other games I have on here, Otherworld Legends, doesn't work on Steam Deck anymore. My account's basically soft locked, so maybe we'll replace that with this. And we'll go ahead and we'll look at the prices of all these after. Let's see here. Virtua Unlimited Project, awesome game. It's going for $9 roughly. If you like Mega Man Zero, you may notice that there aren't many indie games that really even come close to Mega Man Zero. Now, the thing about this game is it's got the generic screaming anime VTubers and stuff, and I'm not into that at all. But I was able to look past it. These guys really knew what made the Mega Man Zero games so good, and some of the best action platformers of all time. The gameplay is top notch. They got pretty much everything perfect, even the way that the damage system and the controls work. For $9, I can't recommend this game enough. It's definitely one of the sleeper hits I played this year. You know, that's kind of why I'm doing this, because I played a lot of really good small games this year, and then for larger games, I actually didn't play that many. Part of it was because, you know, I was without a computer for so long, and then also there just wasn't that much I was interested in. But yeah, for $9, if you like Mega Man Zero even casually, or even better if you were hardcore a little bit like me and you did speed runs for a while in high school, I can't recommend this game enough. What else we got here? See a lot of repeat games in here. Lost Castle 2 was pretty solid. I don't know how much they're selling this for. Hold on. I gotta scroll all the way back, sorry. Otherworld Legends I can recommend as well, but it's not working on Steam Deck currently. They do have a sale on the characters. The game, it's free to play, but you want to buy a couple of the characters, so you can go ahead and check my my content for those, find out the characters you like. Alright, so where were we? Almost halfway through the year already. Lost Castle 2 is about $13. I like this game, but I haven't played it in a while. I'll have to check back on updates. I did not do an overview for this, but I'll try to get to that soon. But I would mark this pretty low priority because I don't have much of an opinion on it. I only played it for a few hours, but it is a solid action roguelike, and it also does have online co-op as well, which is pretty rare for most indie games in general, especially stuff like beat 'em ups and action roguelikes. But it was pretty solid. Definitely one of the cheaper games you could get this sale. Operation Steel is like a roguelike shmup. Um, the gameplay was okay, but I think for the asking price, it was relatively enjoyable. I paid, well, what's it on sale for right now? It's on sale for $5. I don't know if I have any content for this outside of kitty sitting streams, but there should be some reviews you could find, one of which is from a real-life friend of mine, Twisted Banana Productions. Go check him out on YouTube, and he has a good review for this. Metaghost: The Breaking Show is actually one of the better action roguelikes I played this year. It's kind of like a cyberpunk-style roguelike where you compete for money and stuff. It's kind of like Smash TV, but more modernized and, you know, better mechanics. I really enjoyed this game quite a bit. However, updates have slowed down, and that's a little bit concerning because it might mean that they may not finish the game. They definitely had some misguided attempts at trying to get popular, meaning that there's lots of online stuff and like no one is ever playing. Like I remember you had to connect to a server to access a lot of the end game progression, and then no one was ever on. I kind of think they should have just focused on single player and then maybe added like co-op if there was more of a player base. But I did really enjoy this game a lot, despite the frame rate issues and stuff. It was really solid. If you want a roguelike with like more persistent gear that you carry throughout runs instead of starting from scratch every time, it's actually pretty unique in that regard. Let's see what they're selling it for. They are selling it for $12, 11 dollars and some change. Well worth it at that price. All right, going into August, we got some Megatons here. Dragon is Dead, another one of the best roguelikes I played this year, and this one was not inflated. The playtime was not inflated by not having a computer, because I was playing this after I got my computer back. This game is basically Diablo-style loot, but you have, you know, the action roguelike genre. So basically, you get stuff in the run, but you keep all your loot, so you're able to make a build and you can improve it, but then you also get like per run stuff in the game as well while you're in the runs. Really solid. It doesn't seem like it's gotten a lot of attention, but I'm probably the person that's probably streamed it the most out of anybody. Next major update, I'll definitely come back and we'll check it out. I know last update they did fix some things like being able to cast your moves in the air and stuff, and they added more storage. Those were like some of the major problems with the game. I think the next update is supposed to be very soon, so when it is, I will let you guys know. If not, you can look through my kitty sitting streams. I did put up a couple videos of it exclusively you can check out as well. But yeah, this is one of my most played games this year. Gundam Breaker 4 needs no explanation. How much are they charging for this game now? It's already down to $48, but if you're a console player, you can get it for a lot cheaper. Mods ended up not popping off as much as I thought. I definitely enjoyed my time with it. As you can see here, I got all the achievements and everything. But it's just lacking in endgame content. It's a little bit too easy. Some of the systems are very jank, but they did put out an update like last week, and they said that more updates are coming. The DLC is honestly not worth it unless you're really big into Gundam. I'm obviously not. It's not like Kamen Rider and Power Rangers and Super Sentai for me. The fan service was mostly lost on me. The DLC, as a result, is a lot of recycled fights. Even a lot of the new moves that you get are recycled. There are some really cool ones like Gundam Maxter is finally playable and stuff, but other than that, the DLC was kind of a ripoff. It's too quick to go through, and it doesn't really solve the problem of not really having a whole lot to grind for. So, unless you're really into the whole gunpla aspect, making your own Gundams, you'll probably get maybe 30, 40 hours out of this. And I think for the current Steam price of $48, not including the season pass, I don't know if that's really worth it for most people. I would say, I know that the PS5 version has been reported to be on sale at some places for like $30. So if you're a console gamer, mods aren't too substantial for this. They did add a couple things, but nothing like really groundbreaking. So you would get the majority of the experiences playing on PS5. And I think at the current light discount, that would probably be the better way to go if that's an option for you. I would not recommend paying full price for this game. I played Atlas Fallen Reign of Sand this year. I actually really enjoyed this. I definitely had some optimization and performance issues, but after I was able to relatively fix that on my own side with lossless scaling, this game was really enjoyable. Let's see what they're currently selling it for. They're selling it for $20, but if you go on GG Deals, you can probably find a lot of cheap copies because it was in Humble Bundle this year, or this month, I think. So you can probably find it there. It was definitely really enjoyable. I like that the open world was open, but it wasn't too big, and you could get around it relatively quickly. So, yes, it is a literal sand planet, so it's not super interesting to look at, but it was quick to get around. I felt that the combat was very unique, and the builds were as well. I'd say the main problem with this game was this weird thing where, a lot of these games now, River City Girls 2 had the same problem where, they give you a new game plus, but you can only play it once. And that's kind of a problem because there is such a wealth of different builds that you can make in this game. And obviously some were better than others, but you really could find your own build and get through the game with that with relative ease. And I thought that's a pretty hard thing to balance in any kind of game with a, build progression system. But you can only do one new game plus, and I just kind of felt overwhelmed and I stopped playing it. But for the price, this is probably going on GG Deals from people selling them on key sites from Humble Choice that they don't want. I definitely would recommend buying this. It's definitely worth whatever they're charging, but it is $20 on Steam right now. Played the Slime LMBS game this year. Let's see how much they're charging for this before I yap too much. They're charging $38 for this game. Yeah, don't buy it for that price. It's probably cheaper on console. I thought it was a decent game, but the main thing that rubbed me the wrong way was the fact that the moveset was really small, and then the DLC was blatantly cut out from the original development, and they cut it out to sell it back to us. And it's very obvious because the patches for the DLC were very small, and also all the characters that were in the DLC were in the base game with their full moveset. It's definitely not the return of the LMBS that everybody wanted, and for the price they're currently charging for it, it's definitely not worth it. But I don't know, if there's any console deals, it might be a good filler game. What else we got here? Final Fantasy 16, I believe, is like $40 already, isn't it? Yeah, it's $53 roughly for all the DLC, which is definitely worth it because you get more icons and stuff. I actually really enjoyed this game. Now, granted, I'm not really a Final Fantasy fan. The only two Final Fantasies I've finished is Stranger of Paradise and Final Fantasy 16. So the ones that are least like a traditional Final Fantasy. I really enjoyed both of those games. 16 was great. The modding scene for this game has definitely slowed down a bit, but there's been some pretty big, moveset mods and stuff that have come out, and a cheat engine table to let you equip more moves. So we're definitely going to have to play through this again, and I'll put out some more mod videos. I'll try to get to that before the sale ends. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. The base game for $40 is a steal, and the DLC is worth buying as well because you get a bloody palace, you get two new icons, you get some accessories as well, and I think you might actually need it for some of the mods, if I remember correctly. So if you're interested, I would recommend just going all in personally. I definitely really enjoyed this game. It had its faults, like sometimes the pacing was bad and you run really slow and stuff, but it definitely was probably one of the best big games I played this year, even though it's technically a port from last year. But we didn't get it. Us PC peasants didn't get it until a couple months ago. So for all intents and purposes, it was a new game for me. Towerborn has the Founders Pack. I believe it's still $25. Let me check. Oh wow, Founders Pack is actually $20 right now, I think, or something like that. $25. It's definitely worth buying, but you definitely would want some friends to run it with. We'll have to go back and check out the updates for this, but I've just been so busy with all these other projects. I really enjoyed Towerborn, but it is going to be free when it launches out of early access. So think of it like Path of Exile 2, but for beat 'em ups. There's going to be a wipe and everything, and it will be free when it releases. So I would not buy it right now if you're the kind of person that buy stuff because it looks cool and then you don't play it for 6 months because it will be free. The cosmetics will carry over, so all the cosmetics that they're putting out from their events and stuff will carry over, but everything else is going to wipe. The updates have made the game a lot better. They've added more dodge cancel windows. They've buffed a lot of the slower and heavier classes. They added legendary loot as well. I apologize that I don't have a lot of content for this on the channel already, but it is a really solid game. So if you're looking for something to play while you're waiting for Dynasty Warriors Origins and Tales of Graces F Remastered, which are the two big games I'll be doing in the next month, I definitely would recommend it. Realm of Ink is awesome. It's like Hades, but with a Chinese, wuxia theme. Also, the balancing is a lot better because the meta progression is very minimal in this game. The runs are like 20 to 30 minutes long, and there's no major meta progression grind. So that's the kind of thing that turns you off Hades 2, like it did for me. You might actually like this game. Let's see what they're selling it for. It's currently on sale for $15. Can't recommend it enough at that price. Early access updates have been frequent, like pretty much monthly, and they've added a ton of new stuff to the game. So this is definitely the kind of early access game you want to support. I definitely have bought some where they ghost people and they don't update regularly, or they just stop updating entirely. They clearly have an intention of finishing the game. I don't know how many videos I have of this that aren't in streams, but you definitely check out other people's content. Definitely a good game for a budget. What else did I play? God of War doesn't count. I only bought this because of the roguelike mode, and I did enjoy it for that, but I think for the average person, $60 for that, for the roguelike mode would be a little bit too much. Ghost Lore is a really cool Diablo-style game. Let's see what they're charging for this. It is $15 currently. It's a really fun game. It's got kind of Diablo 3 style infinite progression and stuff with the greater rifts. I really enjoyed it. It's a little bit hard to get into because unlike a big AAA game like Diablo, there's a lot less guides and stuff, but you can relatively get by if you just hop in their Discord. People are more than willing to help. I did put up a lot of streams of this, but I don't know how many of them are marked, so you can go ahead and look through those or look for other people's content. But yeah, for $15, can't recommend it enough. Definitely one of the better indie games I played this year. All right, approaching the end here. I would recommend East 10, but they just announced that they're making another freaking version of this game, like 2 months after they finally localized it here, and it's only been out in Japan for a year as well. They actually got the game over here relatively quick. It only took about a year, but Like, as soon as we get it, like 2 months later, they say that they're making another version. I don't really think this game is worth $60. I did do an overview for this, but the short of it is the new game plus and the end game content and the gear systems are kind of lacking, and they don't really work hand in hand with each other. Now, I assume that they're going to fix that in another other version, but I can't really, in good conscience, say, "Hey, go buy this right now." And apparently, there's going to be another one. Now, they weren't able to announce the platforms for it, which means that it will probably be a Switch 2 launch. Now, who knows if it's going to be Japan exclusive or if they're actually going to have it already localized and give it to us on the Switch 2 launch. But yeah, I did enjoy this game, but current circumstances with them pulling an Atlas and making a better version like barely a year later, I can't recommend this game right now. Instead, I think you could probably buy FF16, which is also here in October. I didn't really play a lot of new games in October. Overrider. Let's see how much Overrider is right now. Last I talked to the developers, they're doing they're working on a major update currently, so there may not be any new content for a while. But I definitely really enjoy this game. One of the better action roguelikes I played this year. It's got a lot of potential. Right now, you probably get about 20, 30 hours out of it. I've got an overview up for this if you're interested, so go ahead and check that out. As you can see, I played it a lot. What else we got here? That's basically it for the most part. I did play Gunfield. Gunfield is a roguelike shmup. I put about 5 hours into this. It's currently $4. Really awesome little game. If you like Tyrion, but you know, you don't want a big long campaign. It's like 20, 30-minute runs. Really enjoyable. Plays great on Steam Deck. That's about all I have to say about that. Other than that, that's basically it. I did play the River City Girls 2 DLC, which is pretty solid. I didn't get through Three Kingdoms next. I'll definitely have to put out an overview up for that later. We'll probably have to work on that during some kitty sitting streams. But yeah, that would be my game awards for this year. Those were all the games I would highly recommend. It's nice that they just kind of have this here and I can look it up quick. There were a lot of really good small games this year. As you can see, I didn't really play too many AAA games this year. I think like next year will probably be different because there's going to be probably quite a bit more larger scale action games coming out. You know, we'll probably get a Rise of the Ronin port. Lost Soul Aside is supposedly coming out next year. I'm not entirely sure if I believe that or not, but supposedly it is. A lot of the roguelikes I'm playing should be entering 1.0 as well. So next year looks pretty exciting, even if you look past stuff like Dynasty Warriors Origins. But yeah, this year was heavily carried by small games for the most part. So I'm glad that I was able to put up content for the majority of these. Sometimes playing on Steam Deck and not having a computer for 2 months definitely held me back. But you can go ahead and look through my channel's search function. You should be able to find gameplay for all of these. And I hope that helps. You still got a couple days left of the Steam sale, so a lot of these games are like under $40. So you can definitely, if you got a decent Steam card or something, you can probably pick up a decent chunk of these and be good for a few months. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy holidays.